How tall you mow your lawn, believe it or not, something that is actually really important when you're trying to maintain a nice green patch. So in this video, whether you are just getting into lawn care and starting to think about some of these things, or you are a lawn fanatic who's obsessed with their height of cut, we're going to go over a few different things that will hopefully be interesting or helpful. So let's get into it. Yes, g'day and welcome to a new video. Height of cut, it's something that some people don't think about at all. They just grab their mower out the shed and they just slap away and start mowing and don't even think about it. And it's something that some people get really caught up on and get really passionate about and really want to see lawns cut as low as they can possibly be, and they're obsessed with that. And whatever you're into in lawn care, whatever you enjoy about this hobby, obviously completely fine. But like I said, today we're going to go through a few different concepts to do with your height of cut. And mowing is one of those sort of three kind of pillars or important factors when it comes to lawn care. So you've got watering. Without water, any lawn type, if it gets absolutely no water, is just eventually going to die, even the most drought resilient ones at some point. You've got product applications, so that's fertilizing, wetting agents, weeds, insecticides, all that sort of stuff. That's a component of lawn care. And then you have got the mowing. And it's the thing that we do the most, and so it's the thing that we should be really thinking about. And so the first thing I want to talk about here is the 1/3 rule. So the 1/3 rule is basically that in any singular mow, you don't want to cut off more than 1/3 of the grass blade in that one mow. So imagining this bit of timber here is a grass blade. So that means that when it grows all the way up to this height, you don't want to be chopping it all the way back down. You just want to be taking off about 1/3. Because yeah, if it is growing really tall, then you're chopping it down. Growing really tall, chopping it down, etc. Then it's just going to lead to yellowing. It's going to lead to additional stress on the grass. It's just going to lead to issues in general if you're constantly letting it grow really tall and then chopping it back. And that factor is important because clearly then, if you are wanting to maintain it quite low, then 1/3 relative to the height that you want to be cutting your lawn at, it's quite a small amount. So you need to be cutting really frequently. So for example, in a putting green that's being cut at say 3 millimeters, once that green grows up to about 4 millimeters, 1/3 of that is say 1.3 mil. So, you know, once it's getting to sort of 4.5 mil, if we're following the 1/3 rule in a putting green, the amount that is when it's growing in prime growing conditions, you're going to be needing mowing, and golf courses are going to be needing me mowing daily, every second day, depending on the year. And then you see people out there in some of the Facebook groups and even other YouTube creators and things like that who really love a low cut, 7 mil, 8 mil, those kinds of things. So to maintain that as well, you need to be cutting quite frequently. And you will need to be using a machine like this, a cylinder mower, to be able to achieve that sort of low cut. But if you're in that position where throughout the growing season, you can be out there every second day, potentially, you know, sometimes on consecutive days, 3-4 times a week to mow your lawn. And, you know, we're not going to go into plant growth regulator necessarily in this video, but if you can be out there regularly mowing, maintaining 8, 9, 10 mil, something like that, and you enjoy that, you know, there's going to be a fair bit of work that goes into that. Your water requirements, your fertilizing requirements are going to be a lot higher. But you know what, for some people, that's fantastic. For me personally, it's something I've talked about before. I like to keep my heights of cut more so up around that 20 to 22 sort of millimeter mark. I typically find that I can maintain my turf really nicely at around that height. I can get away with sort of 2 mows a week when it's really growing well, but if I sort of have the time and I want to be mowing 3 times, it's obviously a bit more ideal. But at twice a week, it's never really getting away from me that much to the point where I'm like, far out, you know, I'm just not mowing enough, I can't maintain this. It's a really good height for me. You know, when you start to consider just having kids, the size of the yard and all that sort of thing. One of the main factors that I enjoy a taller cut is because when we're creating the striping patterns with this mower, rolling the grass blades over to create the effect, when there's more leaf to push over, you get more defined stripes. And for me personally, it's just where I get my enjoyment. I much prefer to cut a bit taller, see nice defined stripes, and have that looking really nice. So for me in the hobby, that's what I get more enjoyment out of. And yeah, I am due for liquid fertilizer, I think next week, and granular will be coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks. And yeah, it's not in too bad condition here, but anyway, I'll finish this mow that I'm most of the way through, and we'll go and talk about some taller cuts of grass on my buffalo. So over at my buffalo patch now, alongside this feature garden and fire pit, if you watched last video and you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know I did a top dress on here, so put half a cubic meter of sand on it just 7 days ago, and it's coming back through really nicely. Great time of year to be getting some leveling work done if that's what you want to be doing to your lawn. And yeah, some beautiful color coming through there in this buffalo, but yeah, it's going really well. And as you can see, I'm just cutting it with this battery rotary mower, so a little bit different to where I'm cutting, can't say the stripes from this angle, but cutting with the cylinder mower over there. It's a very different patch with a very different goal. So what my goals are in this patch of lawn straight out of my back door there is I just want to have a nice lush green patch of lawn. I don't want, it's a little bit tough to access with stairs over there, coming around from the back lawn there and coming over my steppers that I've installed over there. So it's a little bit more difficult to sort of get a cylinder mower too, but in any case, I just want alongside this patch, yeah, like I said, lush, green, nice buffalo. I don't want to have a couch lawn that I'm trying to cut at 10 mil or anything else like that. And so having the rotary mower here that I can just come along, clip the tops off. I'm gonna set up the robot mower over here and it'll do that, serve that purpose for me. I'm gonna be really happy with that. And the idea is, especially once I redo my front yard and lay new turf out there as well, that this can be a lot lower maintenance. It'll just get watered with the irrigation, it'll get mowed, it'll get some granular fertilizer, and it'll look nice over here. And look, don't get me wrong, when I first got into lawn care, I fell down the trap and I joined some of those Facebook groups and I got obsessed with trying to cut low, because you see all these people and it's cutting at 10 mil and you know, all that stuff. And so I got my rotary mower when I got a new one, and I was cutting at 27 mil, and I was like really trying to, you know, just be like, yeah, I want to get it down to 20 and I want to cut nice and low and all that sort of thing. And I think, to be honest, personal preference depends on the lawn variety and that sort of stuff, but it's tough to get a rotary mown lawn at 10 mil, you know, that's going to look good. It's just really difficult because of the way it cuts. Now, something you need to do, regardless if you're using a rotary mower, is keep your blades sharp for a nice healthy cut, less chance of disease and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's probably something, you know, everyone's going to be on their own journey, but I'd probably urge is don't get obsessed with that height of cut if you're rotary mowing. Now, I did initially as well get obsessed with the stripes. That was one of the first things that drew me in to lawn care, and then I built my own roller to drag behind my mower to get those stripes. And so I was trying to stripe with a roller at 27 mils with a rotary mower, and look, it wasn't too bad, but you know, I would have gotten a lot better results with that striping attachment. If I cut my lawn taller, I would have made the maintenance easier on myself, because that's something that's important to think of with all of this that I'm talking about. The taller you cut your lawn, the less you have to mow it. So if you just have got kids sport and all sorts of stuff through the week, and trying to get a midweek mow for you is impossible, 100% if you can just cut your lawn on the weekend, that once a week mow at 60 mil or something like that, 50, 60 mil, get it nice and green and lush, you know, I'm sure that's going to be a nice thing for you to hopefully come home to. And you're making it a lot easier on yourself to keep it nice and green. And so yeah, I guess that is the message of the video, and you can take from that, you know, the lower you cut your lawn, the more effort is going to be required, the more regular the mowing. And so potentially, if at the moment you are battling with your lawn, you're struggling to get it looking good, and you do have that deck of your mower set really low, maybe you can drag it up 3 notches or something like that, leave a little bit of extra leaf, and it's just going to help produce that nice green lush growth out the top. So anyway, for me, I am going to finish off this mow. I'm going to tidy up the edges, and then I am due for some liquid fertilizer on here. I reckon by next week it will be pretty well covered in with all of these little sand patches. So yeah, hopefully that helps you in thinking about heights of cut with your lawn. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.